welcome to the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff, and I'm the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas.
And I'm Becky Heath, store manager at the Modern Skein.
And it's freezing here.
Not quite, but it will be legit freezing tonight.
Yes. So it's not that this is uncommon weather. It was just that it was, 70-something yesterday.
Yeah. I was in a pair of shorts yesterday outside.
Yeah.
Legitimately, warm.
Yeah. I put on a jacket earlier yesterday and was like, okay, this is too hot.
Yeah.
Take this off. So, yeah. If you're tired of the weather, just give it 24 hours. It'll change.
Yep.
Totally. So we are all bundled up in our warm sweaters. I actually had a different sweater on earlier, and it just was not cutting it. It was not warm enough. It was 3/4 length sleeves and kind of cropped, and not today. Not today. So before we get into our finished objects, or at least, do you have a finished object?
I don't.
Okay.
Finished object.
Our finished object. One. Let's talk about what we're wearing. So I am wearing I'll stand up. Let me get the name right. It's by Astrid Troland, and it is the Amalie sweater, or sweater number 5, I believe. But it's a really fun, just boxy fit, slightly oversized, striped sweater out of the Biche and Bouche La Grosse. Now, I have a little bit different finish on mine. I did not do a ribbed border. I just did a couple garter rounds in the white, and I didn't do my stripe section as long. I was getting low on yarn. And it was plenty long enough anyway. I really didn't need it to be longer. And then I did the appropriate, striping and cuffs. But again, this is the Biche and Bouche La Grosse. This is the very dark gray and the gray beige. I think we might be sold out of both of these, but we have a lot of good contrast colors.
A couple different other grays that would work really well.
Yeah, we have the medium gray, and I think the dark, very, very dark gray, I think. That would be really similar and really pretty. Of course, the deep turquoise that we have, or the burgundies and the reds, those would be really nice. So
I have yarn sitting in stash. Excuse me, sorry. I have yarn sitting in stash to make this sweater out of the dark blue turquoise and the beige.
Ooh, yeah.
So those are sitting there, and I pulled those out. I was like, okay, I can get this sweater done this year.
It's a really fast sweater because it's like on a 9, 10. It's on a larger needle.
Yeah.
Maybe not a 10, but definitely like an 8 or a 9. A super simple, raglan design. There are 3 rows of short rows for around the neck, so very, very few. There's no decreases on the sleeves. You could obviously add them if you wanted more fitted sleeves. I like the big, wide, kind of chunky, slouchy look, so I love it. There's another one of her patterns that I keep seeing that almost to me looks like a houndstooth. It's that slip stitch something or other. I forget what she calls it. Everything is sweater number XYZ.
Yeah.
But it's really pretty.
I want to say there's one that's, I think it's like it might be just Astrid sweater. There's one that's a little bit crazy, but I want to make it so bad.
I think
got cable, kind of puff short sleeves and color work, and looks glorious.
Yes. So what are you wearing?
I'm wearing my Wild Joy sweater by Samantha Guerin. This was a test knit, and I don't think I anticipated how comfy this was going to be. I should have known. It's a worsted weight sweater, so it's delightful. And then I opted for one of my color or contrast colors to be the Melted Baby Suri, which just makes it extra fluffy and soft.
Super cozy.
And it's got the really nice long ribbing, which I was skeptical of, and I almost didn't do, but I'm so glad I did because it just makes it. I like knitting sweaters that feel kind of like sweatshirts or like just really comfy pieces that they feel put together, but I'm so cozy.
Exactly. Cozy. I was actually watching some episodes of Shetland, rewatching the series Shetland yesterday, and they were, in this episode, a bunch of girls were wearing these gorgeous, like, cabled and colorwork sweaters and hats and everything, and they were wearing them. They were like, they popped it on. It's like, okay, having a sleepover thing, and they all put on their cozy woolen jumpers and went to bed. It's like, oh, so cozy.
That's the kind of aesthetic I live for.
Yes. So, moving on to finished objects. So, if you're a regular and you watch, I think I dropped the hint that I was taking a weekend off, and I did, and it was glorious. Josh and I went down to Galveston, which is, if you're not familiar with Texas, it's about a 2-hour drive, not quite, but to the coast, and it's just so beautiful. So beautiful. So I had basically the weekend off and didn't touch really my phone. We basically sat outside and read books and watched TV and knit, or I knit. Josh did the other two things. And yeah, I actually have a finished object. Yay! So I finished my pressed flower shawl.
So good.
Now, two things. One, I played a bit of yarn chicken. And two, I did not do the border as written. So, I'll show you here. At the end, you do so many of the repeats of the main body pattern. And then for like this section, you were supposed to do a different chart, which made these flowers kind of scrunch up closer together. And I really didn't like how that looked. And I'd seen several other people who did it where they just kept doing the main body chart until the end, and then they did a variety of different bind-offs. The one that I liked the best I actually did not do because I was playing yarn chicken. I literally had that much of my burgundy left, and I didn't want to break into a third skein. If I had, I would have been able to do the bind-off that I liked, which is basically you do 2 more rows of we'll call it the dots in the chart. So you do 2 more rows of that, and then you do either an alternating bind off, like a stretchy bind off, so alternating color, or you do an alternating striped I-cord. Instead, what I did was just 1 plain row after my last bit of the chart in the burgundy, because that's all I had yarn for, and then I did an I-cord bind off in my contrast color, which in this case was Leopard by Chelsea Lux. My main color was Bordeaux on Estate DK by Red Stag Fibre, and I love it. And it is blocked, and it definitely grew. The mosaic grew quite a bit with blocking, which is nice because it was kind of feeling a little bit dense, and now it feels right. But yeah, I love it. I'm so happy I finished it. And yeah, one of those.
It's a great size, like,
It
shawl.
really is. So in my case, I used exactly 4 skeins. 2 skeins of my main body color, 2 skeins of your contrast color. Since I had to play yarn chicken, my suggestion is, even if you're going to follow the pattern directly, or if you do think you want to make modifications kind of like I did, I would highly recommend getting a 3rd skein of your main color. I was in nowhere, I still have probably, I didn't weigh it, but I have probably a 1/4 skein left of my contrast color. So I really wasn't worried about running out of that. But I would highly suggest getting a 3rd skein, unless you've got like jumbo DK skeins that you're working on of your main color. So yeah, one of my whips done and done.
Woohoo!
That's kind of a goal that I'm setting for myself, is to go through my whips and sort them out and either frog them or finish them. And Becky is nodding along because it was my day off yesterday, and it just so happened that it was also, I scheduled it to be Becky's day off. I actually didn't schedule this on purpose. It just actually happened.
Just kind of chain of events.
It worked out really well. So, no, we didn't close the store. Jan was working.
Yep.
Don't worry about that. And I texted her. I was like, hey, you want to help me clean out my craft room? And pet my cat. As you choked to death.
Tried to breathe in coffee, guys. It was not a good choice.
I mean, I know you want to get caffeinated, but there are better ways. Oh, goodness. So anyway, we spent the majority of the morning and lunchtime cleaning out my rather disastrous craft room. We ripped apart quite a few whips. We did. Some yarn is being salvaged from. Some have just been chucked into the bucket. And you know what? It's okay.
Yep.
It's, if, when was it popular? The Marie Kondo thing, when that came out. Was that 2020? Or 2019? I don't even know.
I think that was, it might have been at the beginning of 2020.
I can't
remember. I remember, watching it in one fall, and then I, Marie Kondo'd my clothes on New Year's Day.
Yes.
But I don't think it was pandemic yet.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was pre-pandemic. But regardless, I kind of had that, does this spark joy? No, this doesn't. It will never spark joy as a finished object or otherwise. Chuck it in the bucket. Now, if the yarn sparked some joy, repurpose that. That's fine. But, yeah, definitely got rid of a few whips. None that you guys have seen in a very long time. So, don't worry. Don't panic about that. These were ones that I had already forgotten about, that were probably, one was cast on, this is 2022. One was cast on in the fall, November of 2020. So that's a year and something old. Another one was last year sometime. Another couple were borderline, right at the beginning of March, April 2020. I think one of them was actually older than that. So they may have been on a podcast, but it would be 30, 40 episodes ago, a long time ago. So that being said, I'm being very long-winded this morning, apparently. Sorted out my stash and got it all organized and my whips in their appropriate project bags, since I have 5 billion project bags. Now everything has, not everything, almost everything has a bin. Tonight I will make sure that the rest of my projects get an appropriate bin. It was so nice to just sit in there last night and knit. And that's also where Duncan sleeps. And so he was very happy with his cleaned up space. Little drama king. So anyway, let's show whips. If I can talk, let's show our whips. There we go.
All right.
And since you've got yours in your lap already.
Okay. I have I'm working really hard to try and get this done because I want to wear it so much. I feel like I've done a lot on this since I last showed it.
You have.
I'm working on my Illuminate, which I love so much.
I love that yoke. It really is
such
so
a
pretty.
good yoke. So I have finished my body, and I am almost done with one of my sleeves. I'm doing a shortened sleeve. It's only going to be 3/4 length, which is what I wanted, especially since this is going to be so fluffy and fuzzy. I figure I push up my sleeves all the time. But yeah, this flew off the needles once I got to the stripes because it's one of those addictive, like,
Yes.
they're 5-row stripes, so you get in the rhythm of, okay, 5 rows. Okay, 5 more. Okay, another 5. I can do another stripe, like.
Yeah.
And just sit there and did that in the evenings.
I feel like for me, stripes and color work, like being able to, well, I'm only 10 rows away from the end of the chart. Let me just get that. Well, I just did another row of the chart. Let me just do that. You know?
It's
Or
really
one
easy
more
to,
stripe.
like, bargain with yourself of, like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can watch one more episode of that thing on Netflix and just finish this. Yeah. So that's basically been the story of my life the past couple days. So, yeah, I'm very happy. I like also with, so I'm using the Nocturne from Spin Cycle. So it's a really, really subtle shift, at least in the skeins I've got. But I love now with the stripes, you can actually see it a lot
really
more
see
clearly.
That gradation. It's so pretty.
Whereas, like, I think in the color work, it's there, but it's a little bit more subtle. So, yeah, I'm very excited to get to wear this. I'm hoping I can push through and get maybe, if not fully done this weekend, by, like, next week, I will have a finished sweater. I would like to get it done before we start casting on all the socks.
Yes.
Which is going to happen real soon, so I don't know if that's a
Saturday.
good goal. Yeah. That's like 2 days to finish a sleeve and a ribbing, but we'll see. I might be able to.
You did that whole sleeve in what? Like 2 days?
2 days. Yeah, this is like 2 days of
If you
sleeve knitting.
finish that today and get at least like 2 or 3 stripes done on your other sleeve tonight, you could probably get it done.
Yeah.
May not be blocked and ends woven in, but it could be done. So.
And I will say I am modifying the sleeve decreases. At first that was completely by accident because I just started knitting my happy little stripes and didn't decrease for like 2 inches. And I was like, oh, that was not right. But I ended up hitting a point. I tried it on and I was like, okay, I don't want it any tighter than that. So I only did about half the decreases that she calls for because I wanted to be able to like push it up easily on my sleeves, around my arms, and not have it be super fitted.
That is one caveat to some Andrea Mowry sweater patterns is she either likes a skin tight sleeve or the girl's got very skinny arms, because almost every time I have to modify, I mean, I don't have like big arms, but arms, you know. I don't like skin tight stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to see me in like a skin tight long sleeve shirt. That just is not going to happen. I may have like a tight fitting camisole or tank top or something like that on. That's fine, but not on my arms. I don't know why. Can't stand it.
And like I can do the tight fitting. Like this is pretty tight fitted on my arm, but it's also
not like super tight fitted.
It's not super tight. Like I can still like
Yeah.
push up my sleeves like all the way up if I really wanted to. Not that I would necessarily do that with this sweater. I would just not wear the sweater. But yeah, I think I have a couple sweaters that I can't do that in that are so tight that I'm like, I think a weird sprinkling of like almost claustrophobia comes in and I'm like, I can't handle this.
I have a blouse that's like that where the sleeves are like super tight and I'm always like, I feel like I'm bursting out of this thing. Get me out of it. I just can't. I can't handle it. Weird things going on here.
And now we'll shift back to actually talking about our whips.
Yeah, because I don't even know what category that falls under.
Sure don't.
Okay, so here is my Opus for our knit along. So it was a little bit slow going. I actually did not work on this at all while we were gone over the weekend. I really wanted to focus on the pressed flowers and just get that done. But also, like, I was very conscientious of I'm not, like, pressuring myself, but I'm also not dilly-dallying. I don't know. I just wanted to be intentional and enjoy it and not feel like I didn't like doing it, which I didn't, which sometimes because of how I am and my push to constantly finish things, I get to the point where I just want it off the needles. I don't even like doing this anymore. And I didn't want that to happen. I will say on this, I had also reached a point where my needle was too short, and I knit the first whole part of it on my Chow Goose. I am 100% team Chow Goo, stainless steel, red lace tips. That's me all along. Not a fan of wooden needles. That being said, this yarn is 100% baby alpaca. And I do always say to people, there's a time and place for certain types of needles for different types of fiber. And so I went ahead and I switched over to the new blush Leicas, mostly because I wanted to try the swivel cord and see how it compared to like the swivel cord, the spin cords from Chow Goo, which I do really like it. But it has made working on this a lot nicer. I think my tension's actually evening out more so on this because I'm not constantly like dropping stitches because it's slipping off the needle, because it's a very soft yarn, being the 100% baby alpaca. So there's my back with my floats. There's the front. See, if this was on the other one, they would already be like off. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. It's so soft, so cozy. I definitely will be working on this project this week and tonight. And then, of course, Saturday is our knit-along day, kind of here in the shop. Not that you have to work on it then, but, you know, I digress. I also have that other whip in here, but I have not done any progress on it whatsoever. It's that V-neck sweater. Haven't done any progress on that, so I'm not going to show that. Why don't you go ahead and show
Okay.
before I get into this?
I'm going to go ahead and I'll share my knit along.
Oh, yeah.
My Oracle, which is very much bunched up on these needles. I need to switch to, I think, the next size cable, but you get the idea. Yeah, I am past the second brioche section. I also have not worked on this a whole bunch because it's at a point where I have to pay attention. I'm in the lace, and the amount of stitches on this thing is substantial, and it's good. I think it's gonna double stitches before I'm done from here. Mm-hmm. But it's nice and it's so soft.
Yes. The brioche is looking really good.
Thank you. I went down 2 needle sizes because I knew that I wanted that to really be nice and consistent. And I really wanted to have nice open lace because I feel like sometimes my lace just, I don't. Anyway. Yeah, I'm like 3 rows into the lace section. And I need to just kind of pick this back up. It'll probably be what I work on Saturday. Actually, no, it probably won't. I'll probably be knitting socks.
Yes, you are team leader for socks.
Team Twinkle Toes. Let's go. I have all my sock yarn actually wound up, sitting in my car, of all places.
You will have it for sure when you have them.
That's basically what I wanted to make sure is that I didn't leave it some random place in my house.
So since this podcast should be going up on Friday, if you want to join in on our sockathon,
Super foot
ball knit along, yes, because this has been the hardest thing to get this name right.
We keep making up names.
Yeah, I keep calling it sockathon, and it's not. It's super football because it's. I don't do sports, clearly.
Neither of us do, and I think that's made it so hard.
Yeah. But the idea was prompted to us by several of our very into football customers thought it'd be cool to have a football playoff, something or other. So, team sports, woohoo! Anyway, from January 22nd, is that Saturday? Yes,
that
22nd.
That is.
Through the day of the Super Bowl. We have the actual instructions, like, and rules and everything on our website. Yep. But it's the day that the Super Bowl is on, which I don't know when that is.
Sorry, I don't either.
I think it's like a 12 or 14 day run. I think.
Yeah, I think it worked out to be just about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Of sock knitting challenge.
So, email us or DM us, and we are randomly assigning you to the 2 teams. So Becky is leader of Team Twinkle Toes, and Jan is team leader of the Footballers.
Yes.
And we'll assign you to those teams, and for every finished sock, you get points. There are a few ground rules on how you earn the points, and of course what kind of socks. Tube socks don't count. It has to have a type of heel. But again, all those rules and details are on the website. So definitely let us know if you're joining in, and we'll assign you to your appropriate team and let you know what team you're assigned to. And there's hashtags involved. So super duper fun.
Yes. And it's on the website, but it's also, there is a Ravelry.
That's right. There's a Ravelry group too.
Like kind of chatter space that if you want to share things there. I'm dropping stitch markers. But
we also have a Ravelry group, don't we, for our Opus and Oracle?
We sure do.
So if you're joining us virtually with that, definitely chime in on the Ravelry thread with your progress photos and things like that. We'd love to hear from you guys. There's also hashtags for that if you want to post on social media.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. My Agnes, I know.
I haven't seen this in a few days. I feel like you've
worked
on a lot of other things.
I have, but when I finished this down at the beach, I went ahead and started, just because it's mindless stockinette. I have split for sleeves. So again, this is the Agnes jumper by Camilla Vaude. And so I'm about 3-4 inches past the armhole. Now, I think I need to get to 10 inches past the armhole. So there we go.
So good.
I think on this one, I'm going to do 3/4 length sleeves. It just feels right. But yeah, I do love it. I mean, look at that moody goodness. So real quick, the color recap. It's all croft fingering from Red Stag Fibre, paired with a Biche and Bouche mohair. So it's Welsh slate, cobblestone, castle rock, and stone path. And then paired with the appropriate matches of Biche and Bouche mohair, which is like light gray, medium gray, black, and I think this one is actually called I
think it's gray brown.
Yeah, but it has a green tinge to it, and it's really, really pretty. I've noticed I've been leaning towards a lot of olive toned things, like in clothing.
I feel like that's one that I keep. The olive tones, the rust tones, the deep mustardy colors. I feel like I keep seeing those pop up in a lot of clothing and things lately. So
yeah. I just got an Instagram ad for this super cozy jumpsuit looking thing in a dark gray and an olive, and it's ooh, so cozy. So anyway, that's my Agnes jumper by Camilla Vaude. Let's see.
Yes.
Yeah. What else? You have 2 other projects.
I have 2 other ones out. This one will be real quick. Speaking of deep mustard and kind of rusty reds, here we are. True. I think it's been a little bit since I've shown this, I say skeptically. This is my sheep camp sweater this is one I also really, really want to wear, and I'm very excited about. So I'm trying to keep pushing through because it's at the point right now where there's a lot of stitches on there. I'm maybe 10 rows from splitting for sleeves. And so it's kind of a beast to work a row. But I'm so close. I just need to keep going. Yeah, you can kind of, I think last time I showed it, I had was still finishing up my last bit of the triangle section. So I think I have like 5 rows left in the chart, maybe 6 or 7. Wow. And then it'll be splitting for sleeves. And I'm working this out of dapple so that I hopefully will get a little more wear out of it with the cotton and wool blend. It's in the colorways Medallion and Blaze. I feel like this is kind of not my normal wheelhouse of colors, but I love it.
No, it's a little bit different for you, but it's definitely, I mean, you usually have like the rusty colors as accents, but this is going to be really nice. So which is actually your, like, the main body of the sweater?
The main body is going to be the Medallion.
Okay, the gold. Yeah, that's going to be real pretty.
So, yeah, I had actually bought that yarn when we had the Brooklyn Tweed trunk show, like right as I started at the shop. And I wanted to do, I think I was going to do the honey moss shawl, and decided just didn't want to do a whole bunch of lace and cables. And so it sat in stash until we had a customer come in and was working on this sweater. And I was like, yep, that's it. It's that one. And I really enjoy how dapple is working up for color work. I wasn't quite sure if I would love it, but I love it.
So if you're not familiar with dapple, dapple is by Brooklyn Tweed, and it's a 60-40 organic cotton from Texas, from here, mixed with organic wool. And it is it's what I knit my gloam out of. It's a super, super lightweight DK weight yarn. We actually have a decent amount of colors right now. But we will be getting a full restock of dapple probably as we get into closer to March and April for the spring and summer season, because it is such a great heavier summer weight yarn, especially for here. It can be like a 3-season wear type garment. Depending on where you live, it can be also a 3-season wear, or just as a nice layering piece, like an inner layer, because with the cotton in there, it's also, you have that wicking kind of property, and you have the temperature regulation of the wool. So definitely if you're in a colder climate, there's still a time and place that you can wear this as, like I said, either more like a base layer or indoor layer, or as more of a spring transitional piece.
Like, I would envision this, like, from when I lived, like, in the summers, like, up in Maine. Like, this would be, like, the perfect thing to throw on in the evenings, is kind of what I, like, realized as it was going. I was like, oh, man, that would be great.
I really like the idea of, actually, this kind of just popped into my head, but now I really want to do it, is knitting a sweater out of dapple, like I'll say a sweatshirt style. So, like, kind of oversized sweatshirt style for when we go to the beach. Because even though it's south of here, the beach, you still have cold winds, even in the dead of summer. You still have that wet wind, and that would just be absolutely perfect for, going out to dinner or going on a beach walk in the evening. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
Now I want one. I do. Out of the pumice color. Pumice is like a white gray mottled, kind of like if you think of the old original gray heathered sweatpant kind of color, that's what pumice reminds me of.
Very similar to the gray you have on the body of your Agnes.
Yeah.
Basically that
color gray. Okay. So yeah, I like gray. Oh, well.
That was the biggest pile of yarn that we reorganized, was the gray. I just kept getting yarn, like, tossed at me. Gray, 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 gray. I had to separate out into the dark grays, almost blacks, because I needed it. There was so much.
And then there's that random skein of neon pink.
There was, like, a hot, like, highlighter yellow skein, and I literally was just like, one of these things is not like any of the others.
And I was like, that was a pandemic impulse buy. Oh, okay, so my last whip of the day.
Oh
is a new. You hadn't seen this.
I've seen little peeks of it, but I hadn't. Good.
It. So.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. I had to compose myself for this. So, as we all know, yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, the day before yesterday. I don't know. Someday this
Tuesday.
week. Tuesday. Andrea Mowry came out with her new, I remembered it, Velvet Mirror. I was calling it everything but Velvet Mirror the other day. Cowl. So the Velvet Mirror cowl, actually, here's a picture of it. Ta-da! Woohoo! Super cute and cozy. And so what she originally did was a skein, or actually 2 skeins, I think, of the Sport Weight Spin Cycle, and then the Melted Baby Suri by Qing Fibre, so also 2 skeins. So we've been selling kits like crazy. I'm down to like 3 colors of Melted Baby Suri. That being said, there are lots of options to do this cowl in. You can do the Red Stag Fibre Suri, the Lace Weight Suri. You have the option of holding it by itself and being just totally fine, or holding it double if you want it even extra thick.
Yeah.
You can hold mohair double or triple depending on what you like and achieve gauge with. She even gives you ideas if you want to do, instead of a sport weight, you could do like a heavy fingering and double-stranded mohair as well. You can also use billow from Shibui, which is that blown fuzzy yarn that's alpaca, cotton, alpaca, and merino. That's a great option. You would not need to double this. This is comparable in thickness to Melted Baby Suri. Or you can do what I did. Pause. You know, I was thinking this last night. This is sport weight. You could do the baby alpaca, so it'd give you that little bit of halo. So this is baby alpaca sport from Blue Sky Fibers. That's a great option. You can, of course, just do 2 if maybe you don't like mohair or suri or alpaca. Just do 2 contrasting colors.
Yep. Which
is kind of what I did. Except I did add a mohair. So, what I did is, look at this, you guys.
It's so good.
This is the new Shibui Haven, which is 100% cashmere, in the new Les Garçons colorways of Boreal and Rosé. This is marketed as a DK weight, however it is a light DK, and so I have had no trouble with the gauge. And I actually am stranding with my pink here, the rosé color. It's a very, very light pale pink. I've been stranding the matching mohair, Tweed Silk Cloud, not Tweed Silk Cloud, just regular Silk Cloud, excuse me, with just the rosé, not with the Boreal. So you get a little bit of differentiation. I am loving this. It's so soft.
Between the cashmere and the the mohair, it is
just yummy.
So good.
Yummy. So, yeah, you guys, I'm loving it.
And I love that color work motif. I think it's very similar / based off of the pink velvet. Yeah, that
right
one.
There.
Literally that one.
Yeah. We have, you can see it's very, very similar. I don't know if you can see from up there, but if you look up Pink Velvet Sweater, that was a sample knit for us by Jan. She actually did not do, it's also supposed to be Melted Baby Suri.
Yep.
And for the color work, she opted not to just do 2 wools, and it's gorgeous. So yeah. That is definitely a fun option. I do love good cowls, and I love color work because, you know, for me it's like, oh, just one more. Oh, just one more. Oh, just one more. So yeah. This one does have a provisional cast on because you will Kitchener it together. It's great. Don't let that scare you because it's not scary at all. Yeah, so that is... Oh, if you're looking for yardage requirements, if you're going to use the Haven, you're going to need 2 skeins of each color just like you would with the spin cycle or the Qing fiber as well. I believe you're only going to need one skein. It's right on the edge of the mohair if you choose to add mohair to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all my whips. I mean, I technically have other whips, but there's no point in showing them because no progress has been made.
Okay, this is a new one. My last whip, and it's a hot mess.
It kind of looks like somebody got a hold of it.
Nope, that's just me stuffing all of my whips into one project bag.
It happens.
Goodness. Okay, well, we're just going to roll with it. I have cast on the Grow shawl, and I know that's not actually how it's meant to be pronounced, because I think it's meant to be in, like, Finnish. It's by Fibre Tales. I don't think it's Finnish.
No, it's not Finnish.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't it have an umlaut on the top of the O? Now that I think about it. Nope.
It does not.
It almost looks like, I know it's the font, but it looks like Crow, but that's not it either.
I watched her podcast where she said it, and
Grow. I'm making up stuff.
Yes. But it is a shawl worked out of an unspun. She used and designed it with Nutidin. I don't have that because it's such a small, limited quantity when they release it. But I am using Plotalopi because, fun story, the first time I signed up for a test knit to use this, I did not comprehend the size of the Plotalopi skeins or plates. And so I my experience had been looking at the smaller size skeins of I think Rowan does them, or there's the little ones, and I was like, oh, I want to make sure I have plenty for this test knit.
Surprise!
Outfit change.
It's technically almost 24 hours into the future.
Yes.
So as you just saw on that last screen, we had a technical difficulty, i.e. the camera just shut off.
Yeah.
And then we thought we had lost the entire podcast because it was no longer on my phone. Yep. So we mildly panicked and then went about our day. And last night, I go to take a picture of my cat. And lo and behold, it's there. Yay! So we are going to pick up the discussion of the Plotalopi yarn.
Yes.
Take it away, Becky.
Okay. So I think I was talking about the time that I bought way too much of it. And basically, I thought they were going to be much smaller skeins or balls than they actually were. Turns out, no. I ordered 5 plates of this. And this is actually already partially used.
I was going to say they were larger than that when I...
They are larger than this when you get them. These are actually that test knit that I ordered them for. I used 2 strands held double from these exact plates. I still have 3 more that are in their plastic packaging in my yarn stash. They actually get partially their own bin because they don't fit in the other bin. But anyway, we were talking about this in the shop the other day. I brought it in to share with a customer that hadn't seen it before. And while I was sitting here just squishing the delightful plate of wool, I ended up casting on the Grow shawl by Fibre Tales. I think I said that?
Yes.
Pretty sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you did. Because I did watch the last bit to make sure.
Excellent. Yeah. So yeah, there's not a lot going on with this, and truth be told, it's probably not going to get a ton of work on it in the next couple weeks as I shift to knitting a ton of socks and trying to finish up my Illuminate and another test knit that literally within the 24-hour period since I saw we started recording, I took on and started knitting. So
yeah. She has a problem. It's okay.
I do.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all we have to share for whips. as far as things happening, of course, in the store, like we said earlier, our sock knit along, definitely there is still time to join in on that.
Please do.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, for all of our in-store events, check our website. We have all of that on our calendar. We are in the process of figuring out exactly how to do some virtual classes and or film some general tutorials that will be uploaded here to our YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. I was hoping to do this by about this time this month, but it's been a bit chaotic, so it probably will happen middle of February instead. But stay tuned. We are in the works. It's just, there's a lot more logistics to it than you think. But yeah. And then, of course, also, if you aren't already signed up for our email newsletter, I do encourage you to do that. We are now doing, starting this year, we're doing the Kit of the Week. So every Sunday morning, you will be emailed what the Kit of the Week is. And if you purchase that Kit of the Week on our website, you will get a automatic PDF download of the featured pattern included with your purchase for free. Yes. And we're going to have a wide variety of kits available. When they are sold out, they are sold out. We can't restock them. So it is just a limited run. When they're sold out, it's gone. And we won't be able to like recycle kits necessarily. So like, if you missed the Kit of the Week that week, I can't offer it next week. So it is a limited edition thing. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, and there will be, it's not all knit. There's going to be at least one a month, a crochet pattern as well. So crocheters are not left out. I've already been scrolling through to find what patterns we're going to be featuring, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. You will still have a day because there are 3 kits left for our Kit of the Week right now, which is the Frank kit. And as of right now anyway, you'll have till Saturday to purchase those kits to get the free pattern. So if you're interested, do that ASAP. Otherwise, stay tuned for Sunday and the release of the next kit.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Of course, we have the sock cast on. We have our Opus. I think I already talked about this. Our Opus and Oracle knit-alongs are happening. So definitely chime into the Ravelry chatter if you're not around and local to pop in.
And truth be told, they're both really relaxed knit-alongs. Like, I think we've set some goals.
I am not going to finish it in time.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad.
Truth be told, I've kind of put it, I think I said this in yesterday's portion of this podcast, which is a weird sentence. But I've been focusing on my Illuminate, and now I'm going to try and really focus on getting this hat done and then make a bunch of socks. So
frankly, if you want to join in now,
feel free to join. Like, if you've seen what we've been working on and you're like, ooh, that could be a good challenge or that seems fun.
Still use the hashtags.
Go for it.
Do we have a Ravelry for that?
We do. There's a Ravelry page for the 2 of those together. Oh,
yeah.
And I'm glad you said that. Ravelry, there is a Ravelry page for the sock challenge, and that's where we're going to be putting, if you sign up, that's where your team roster is going to be.
Yes. So we did mention about signing up for teams earlier. We have, if you have reached out to us, we now have the roster, so you can find your name on it. If your name is not on the roster, we don't know that you wanted to participate. Yes. So you need to let us know.
We're just going back and forth between teams, trying to keep it random. Even. So I think at this very moment, one team has an extra person, and that's literally because I have a notebook going of did it.
Exactly.
Because that made sense.
Great sound effects.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what we've been up to. Oh, we do need to do I've been informed by Josh that he had a hard time last time because we were so animated back and forth getting the screenshot. So now we're supposed to have a moment where we pause for a screenshot. Because that's not awkward at all.
Awkward pause time.
So Thanks so much for tuning in. If you are not already subscribed, we would love it if you would subscribe and follow, get notifications, so you'll be uploaded. No, you won't be uploaded. You will get a notification when we upload the next podcast. We do try and do it every other week. So yeah, hopefully you will have enjoyed it. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.